Welcome to Brea Talks, an insider's look into topics that affect your experiences in the City of Brea. Whether you live, work, or play here, we're bringing you the information you need to better understand your city. So now, we invite you to listen in as Brea Talks. Hello and welcome. I'm Dan Fenstermaker, and today Brea concludes its talks about building and safety. May was Building and Safety Month, and we felt like there was just too much for not one episode, not two episodes, but we needed a trilogy. George Lucas, eat your heart out. Today we have the dramatic conclusion as we discuss building and safety regarding commercial projects. And for this epic finale, we have brought in several different members of the City of Brea team, all who are very much involved in the commercial permitting process. Before we meet everyone here, I just want to put a couple things out there for our listeners. I've said in the past that the purpose of Brea Talks is to provide the best information possible to you, the listener, and to help you better understand the City of Brea, as well as enhance your experience within our city. Whether that being a resident, student, or in today's case, maybe a business owner or potential business owner. And just to be upfront, we are going to get a ton of great information today and an inside look into the process of opening or moving your business into the City of Brea. And it may seem a bit overwhelming, but we really want the takeaway to be this. Brea is very much a business-friendly city, valuing both larger enterprises and small businesses, as we know both are extremely essential to the local economy. So if you are considering opening a business in Brea, moving your business to Brea, or maybe just looking for a little help from our economic development team, please do not hesitate to reach out to them at business@cityofbrea.gov. And believe me, they are eager to assist you. That being said, let's just go around the room, introduce yourselves, your title, your division, and your department, just to give everyone listening an idea of the scope of how many people are involved in seeing these projects through.
Hi, Dan. Thank you for having us here once again. My name is Chris Varela. I'm the building official for the City of Brea. I oversee the management of the Building Safety Division within the Community Development Department.
Hi, my name is Alexis Mendocino. I am one of two permit technicians in the Building and Safety Division that's part of Community Development.
Hi, my name is Rogelio Cortez. I'm one of two junior plan checkers here with Building and Safety under the Community Development.
And hi, this is Ryan Chapman. I'm city engineer here with the Public Works Department, Engineering Division.
I'm Crystal Nava, assistant planner, and I'm representing the Planning Division today.
It is a party in here. It is a party in Brea Talks right now. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. And wow, just so many people involved with these projects. I think from what I understand, one of the biggest questions is why does it take so long? The process, construction, or just opening a business in general. Why does the process take so long? And from what I understand, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at it. It's not that you guys work slow. It's just that there's so much that you all have to do and you all have to coordinate with each other. And I feel like I'm getting a sense now of why the process is a little bit lengthy, just because maybe there isn't a lot happening in front of the business owner. It doesn't mean it's not happening behind the scenes. There's a ton of coordination, like I said, and you guys are all working very, very hard. But to get us started right away, right on the right track. I'm a business owner. I want to open a business. From previous episodes, I've learned that I before I even go to building and safety and submit a permit, I got to check with planning. I got to check with planning and make sure that my business can be, in fact, open in the place I want to open it. So, Crystal, tell me a little bit about that process.
Yes, so you're correct, Dan. The first step should be checking in with the planning division. So if you're a new business wanting to come to Brea, you're an existing business trying to relocate, and if you're a business in general trying to do any project, The best thing to do is check in with zoning so we can do like a screening for zoning compliance.
Okay.
The planning division is you can email them, you can give them a phone call, or you can come to the front counter. When we meet up with you, we always ask, please give us your address, give us a description of your business or what you're trying to propose.
Got it.
We'll then look into our zoning code. So the zoning code is basically a governing document that outlines the types of uses, the development standards for each zone, right? So if you think of the whole entire city, every property, there's kind of a designated zone for that. So to name a few would be residential, commercial, industrial, mixed use. So then once we're able to determine if you're allowed to go in there, we determine, okay, are you going to need any type of planning applications or any type of entitlements? So let's say a new restaurant wants to come in, right? We check, they want to go into the Brea Mall, let's say.
Okay.
All right, check off, a restaurant is permitted to be at the Brea Mall or even at a shopping center, right? But then they ask, hey, I want to go ahead and sell alcohol.
Okay.
So now we go and we look at our zoning code and we say the sale of alcohol at a bar. You need a conditional use permit.
Okay.
A conditional use permit is one of the planning application that requires a discretionary approval. A discretionary approval means that you get approval by some sort of governing body, whether it be the director, whether it be staff, whether it be planning commission or city council.
I see.
In this case, the planning commission is the one that gets to give approval for a conditional use permit for the sale of alcohol.
Got it.
So let's say, okay, I want to go ahead and sell the alcohol. What do I have to do? What's the permit process like? So we'll tell them, hey, we have an application online, which is not only for a conditional use permit. Let's say this person also wants to go ahead and make a facelift to the existing building and add on to it and add a patio. That may trigger some other types of applications, which we can review it together, like a precise development, a plan review, a conditional use permit. And what we'll do is you go on the application and we have a list there and it tells you all the submittal documents that are required.
Got it.
You send all your application, and if you need help, at any time, at any point, always contact planning. We'll go through everything and let you know exactly what you need or you don't. So once you submit, now you've entered the entitlement phase. Every submittal is a 30-day review process, which you'll get an assigned planner. The planner will go ahead and route your application with all the documents and plans to different departments. And sometimes it may vary depending on what you're trying to propose. But we like to make sure that all departments are able to review this to ensure that whatever you're proposing, there is no concerns and applicable conditions can be added to the project.
I see.
So we'll send it to Public Works, Building and Safety. We'll send it to Fire, Police Department, sometimes even Community Service, Arts and Public Places. And so at the end of the 30-day, you'll receive a response letter, whether it's, hey, we need additional information or clarification, and we'll kind of get going on to that submittal process. But if, let's say, every department's good, hey, we're good, we're ready to condition your project, then we can go ahead and sign it up for a planning commission. So it really depends on, the timing depends. So for example, if you're a business doing a conditional use permit for an alcohol, it may be a lot faster than someone who's trying to go ahead and do, a new building addition, right? So once we send it off, planning commission, it's a public hearing, then the planning commission could go ahead and decide you're approved. Which in that case, afterwards, then we will give all the conditions to your project. And then from there, I think this is the part where now you can start entering the building permitting phase of it, depending on your project. But then that's when you'll start contacting more of Alex and her team and the building safety team with like, hey, now I need to get my permits. Let's start that process.
Got it. Okay. So a lot there. Okay. That's assuming everything is permitted within the area. Like you said, you used the example of the Brea Mall. What happens if I wanted to open a restaurant or a business in an area that's not permitted by that particular zoning code?
So if So the zoning code will tell you if it's not permitted. If it's not permitted, you can't.
Okay.
But if it says, hey, you need a CUP or an MCUP, then that's the route you have to go.
Okay. So the zoning code is it's a non-starter. If it's not properly zoned for that area, it's a non-starter. There is no way forward on that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Let's talk about we talked a little bit about that application process as it relates to planning. We're now moving forward to building and safety. We are in the right zone. Good news, everyone. We're in the right zone. So to building and safety. Alexis, talk to us a little bit. I know we've talked about the application process before. I understand it's a little bit similar, but a little different.
Yes, yeah, correct. So it is a little bit similar and a little bit different. So we actually, for all residential and commercial projects, we only have one building permit application. So I know we talked a little bit about, there's about 6 pages. It's going to be a similar process to residential, but residential has 3 ways to apply, whereas commercial only has 2. So you're going to either want to use our online permit center, or you can send your submittal to us via email.
Got it. Okay, so I'm definitely now starting to see even more why somebody might have the idea that it takes a long time. A lot has to be done. Alexis, you just briefed us on the application process, but then the application gets routed to different departments.
Yes, and that's the role of myself and the other permit technician. Is once you have your building permit application complete, once you have your plans, any documents that are required from each department, and you send it via email or you send it through our online permit center, it's building and safety's responsibility to route it out to each department. So we're kind of the keepers of the entire permit record.
Got it.
That can range from building to planning, fire, and including public works engineering.
Got it. Okay, so planning. Crystal, back to you. What are we looking for specifically when it gets routed to you?
So when I get a set of plans, I'm basically looking for conformance with the zoning development standards, which will be setback, height, landscape, parking, and anything within that zone requirements.
Awesome. Okay, Chris, what are we looking for in building and safety when something gets? I mean, it's with us now in building and safety, but you take a look at those plans. What are you looking for?
So then we're looking that the project's fully compliant with the California Title 24 building codes that are many. So it's the building code, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, energy code, Cal Green code, accessibility, depending on what the project is, and many, many, many other requirements.
Awesome. Okay. Public Works. I know you're well represented. Ryan, city engineer, what are we looking for in these plans?
Yeah, so on the global scale, Public Works Engineering is looking for any impact to public facilities or public infrastructure associated with the project. So there's really 3 buckets that would fall, that we'd be looking at overall. That could include the consistency information provided within various permit submittals. It's verifying that the proposed improvements meet city and jurisdictional design guidelines.
Got it.
And then also making sure that things are actually constructible and meet the conditions of approval that were provided during the entitlement phase.
Got it. Okay. There's a seat at the table that is empty, but they are not forgotten, and that is our fire department. Chris, can you talk a little bit about what fire would be looking for in these plans?
Yes, Dan. So yeah, that's a big part of the process, fire prevention.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here, but some of the items that they'll be looking for, it's a means of egress, fire alarms, fire sprinklers, make sure also the project is fully compliant with the California Fire Code. So those are some of the items that they will be looking at.
I see. Okay, so once again, there's 5 of us, 6 including myself here, and that's not even the whole party. There's a whole other department, and that is fire, and sometimes police and community services if there's other things involved as you mentioned. So definitely touches almost all, if not all, departments here at the City of Brea. Chris, talk to me about the different types of submittals and what those are.
Sure. So let me talk about The submittals go through building and safety. So at the beginning, the main submittal will be the building permit submittal, and that includes all the construction documents such as architectural drawings, structural drawings, mechanical, electrical drawings, along many supporting documents such as geotechnical investigation reports, structural calculations, along specs, along other require supporting documents. Mm-hmm. And these, depending on the project, if it's a big project, these construction document set could be up to, 1,000 sheets.
Wow.
And multiple volumes of calculations that we had to go through and ensuring the project it's code compliant. Another submittal that we look at, it's the grading. Mm-hmm. So we have the two grading submittals. One is for the mass grading. Another one is for the precise grading, and which includes the utilities. And with those, there's so many required construction documents, studies, and calculations that are also submitted with that. But Ryan could elaborate a little more on what are some of those studies and requirements that have to be submitted with these grading submittals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, Christian. In terms of the overall grading permit package that's typically submitted, you have first off the plan set, which is broken out into, for simplicity, you have general notes, a site plan, grading plan, utility plan, erosion control plan, and all the details for all those miscellaneous items that go into the plan set. And then associated with that, you have each of the various technical studies that go along with those and supplement and prove that the proposed development works and doesn't have an impact to the public infrastructure. Associated with that, you have items such as the geotechnical report, the sanitary sewer study, the hydrology and hydraulic study verifying storm drainage flows. You have the final water quality management plan that gets reviewed, the water demand analysis, the solid waste circulation plans, on-site circulation plans, and a host of other various submittals depending on what is being submitted for the proposed development.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yes. Thank you, Ryan. And then just to name other submittals that are required, we have the landscape submittal. That's a separate submittal. We also have accessory structures, such as cover structures, trash enclosures, retaining walls, side walls. All those will fall into accessory structures as separate submittal. We also have fire submittals that are submitted directly to the fire prevention division. Mm. And these could be like the fire sprinklers, fire alarms, high pile storage, along other submittals. So these are some of the submittals that are required for a project. So as you can see, there are many submittals, and that's one of the reasons that the projects takes a while, from start
absolutely.
to completion. So we definitely look at many different submittals, and also just to name that within say the building submittal, there are many deferred submittals as well that get submitted after the permit is issued. We're still looking at different components of the building that are submitted afterwards. So because of those type of submittals and all the documentation that it's required to be reviewed, these tend to go through different, not different, but several plan check reviews. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the construction process itself for a commercial business and the use of contractors. You need a contractor. You need a licensed contractor. This is, Alexis, we talked about owner builds in the previous. There's not a lot of owner, not really a thing. Not really a thing here, right? We need a licensed contractor.
Correct. So every commercial project needs a licensed contractor. So not only do they need to be licensed by the California State License Board, they need a business license specific to our city. So before they start any construction, any demolition, or they conduct any work, they'll need a City of Brea business license for their contracting company.
Got it. Let's talk about waste management of a construction project and the disposal of debris and that process.
Sure, I'll take this one. So pretty much the Cal Green Code requires to recycle 65% on each project.
Okay.
And so because of that, each project has to submit a waste management plan.
Okay.
And that's handled or submitted via our online platform, which is Green Halo.
Okay.
So the waste management plan, it's submitted for review and approval. And then that has to be done prior to a permit being issued. Once the permit is issued, we're still monitoring construction progress. And at the end of the construction, we have a staff that's going to be reviewing that and making sure that the project is compliant and they recycle 65% of the construction and debris that were generated by the project. And once that documentation is uploaded to the platform and sign off, then we proceed to final the building permit and sign off on the project.
And just to piggyback off of what Chris was saying about the Green Halo and the waste management, so building is the keepers of the first approval, which you're going to need prior to permit issuance, as Chris had mentioned. And then what you'll need is a final waste management. That'll be required before you receive your final inspection to kind of close out your permit. But building will keep record of that in your permit record.
Yep, and just one other thing to add from the Public Works perspective, just to provide clarification. So any proposed project or any permit that generates debris requires a waste management plan submittal to be submitted to Building and Safety and to the Green Halo online portal. So that is essentially nearly every single project requires a waste management plan submittal.
Yeah, and in Building and Safety, we get a lot of questions and inquiries regarding Green Halo and the entire waste management process. Feel free to reach out to the Recycle Brea team at any time. Their email is recyclebrea@cityofbrea.gov. They're available to answer any questions or walk you through the Green Halo process.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for that drop. Business licenses. So we talked about contractors having to have a business license to operate in the City of Brea because they are, in fact, operating their business, constructing your project. But the business itself needs a business license to operate in the City of Brea. Crystal, tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so all businesses, home occupations, or even businesses outside of Brea that are providing some sort of consulting service, they all require a business license. We do have a third-party consultant called HDL, who is the company who manages our business license. When a requester submits to apply for a business license, it does come back to planning just so we can ensure that zoning is okay, but they are the ones that they manage the permitting of the business license. And I would like to note that once you do have your business license and it's approved, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can start your business operations. A certificate of occupancy will be required.
I see. Okay. All right. So business license is not a green light per se. Rogelio, certificate of occupancy. Take us home.
Yeah, for certificate of occupancy, that's required whenever there's a new business trying to open up to start the business. Also, whenever there's a change of ownership or simply they're just changing location. So this certificate of occupancy, building reviews it. They see what each space is used for, and that determines the occupancy load for each of the for the space itself. For the tenant space, let's say for the restaurant, you have different areas within. You have the kitchen area, you have the seating area. So building determines how they put a capacity on how many people can be placed in there. Also, planning reviews that application. Same with fire reviews the sprinklers to make sure they're adequate. Planning reviews the zoning as mentioned prior. sometimes there is a requirement for a change of use with it for that space. So that space will require a change of use permit, which an applicant submits. That way they can bring that space up to code for what they're proposing. So if there's a change from, let's say, a business, so an architect and engineering business, and they want to switch over to a restaurant, those are two very different.
Sure. Although I'm seeing a very cool themed restaurant, like an architectural themed restaurant. I don't know.
That could
maybe.
work.
Yeah, maybe that work.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
could work.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so if there's a big change like that, that change of use permit will bring that space to be compliant for that use.
Got it.
So whenever, that C of O, if the previous use was for something different, that change of occupancy is required.
Got it. Okay, so then once all these things, it's like a final punch list.
Correct.
Once all these reviews have been completely checked and signed off on, and every single department division involved in the process has given the okay, the COO is issued.
Correct, yes.
Awesome.
It will be printed out, signed by our building official, Christian, and sent to them.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and I think something to keep in mind is building is also the keeper and facilitator of the C of O applications.
Okay.
Even if you're expanding your floor area or changing your business name, a C of O is going to be required.
So, and just to add to that, so once the COO, the certificate of occupancy, is issued, then it's mailed to the applicant, and that has to be posted on the premises somewhere where it's visible. And after that, the building could be occupied
Awesome.
and start operations.
Okay. That's a very long journey, but hopefully a happy ending. I do want to go back to one other thing, and Alexis, I'm going to throw it back to you. This was a lot, but not
Yes.
necessarily every business requires every single type of submittal.
That's correct. So every submittal is different. So not every submittal. I know Chris had mentioned several different permit applications that may not be applicable to your project. But in building and safety, either the technicians, our clerks, our plant checkers, feel free to give us a call, send us an email, and we can kind of give you a rundown of what your project is going to be required.
Okay. So though it may seem very daunting, it may not come down to all of these things, but definitely check with staff, and you guys are going to be there to help them every step of the way.
Yeah, and I know it seems like a long process, but don't let this deter you from opening a business or coming to our city. I know residents and staff are always excited to see new businesses, whether it's restaurants or retail shops, come to our city. So we look forward to seeing you.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this episode of Brea Talks, and a wrap on building and safety for at least the time being. I'm sure we'll see you all again as you have so much going on. We can't wait to hear what exciting stuff you guys have going on in the future. This episode and all episodes of Brea Talks can be heard wherever you get your podcast, as well as on Brea TV and our Brea TV app. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, rate, and review, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening in as Brea Talks.